fish. Oh. Got one. There you go, guys. There you go. Decent one. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the channel. My name's Aaron. Thank you all so much for tuning in. I greatly appreciate it. Today, I have the ultimate swim jig challenge for you. Now, this video is going to be important to you for two reasons. The first reason is to get comfortable with a new lure. See, the swim jig is a lure that I'm actually not very comfortable with, and I'm really working on getting it in my hands more, fishing it more, and finding out exactly where it excels. But when it comes to the swim jig, there's two ways to fish it. There's boppin, or there's the straight retrieve method. Now, I know a lot of you all watch other YouTubers such as Tactical Bassin and Stefan. So if you watch those channels at all, you'll have seen these two swim jig videos recently that greatly inspired me to do this video. What I actually did was I purchased all the lures for both these videos so I could come and show you guys what works better, swimming versus bopping. Let's talk a little bit about the lures. So the first ones we're gonna talk about are the core tackle swim jigs, and these are gonna be more your bopping style swim jigs here. So with this one, I have the pearl white. I have that Berkeley the DL trailer on there. This one's pretty similar. This is gonna be Goldilocks with that Berkeley the DL trailer. And then I do actually have one swimming swim jig, and that is gonna be this black and blue with this little reaction skinny dipper on the back of that. Now, the only downside I see to these core tackle swim jigs is they do have a little bit lighter wire hook. It's not super light, but it's not super heavy duty either. And the lake I'm going to has really heavy standing timber, so I'm not sure how that's gonna hold up. The only other downside to these core tackle swim jigs is the heaviest they come in is a 3/8 ounce weight, which means if you needed to get deeper in the water column, it is gonna take a little bit longer to get down there. Now let's move over to our swim jigs with the boot tail trailer that Tactical Bassin recommends. Now, the first one we're gonna take a look at on the Tactical Bassin side is the Mega Bass swim jig with the underspin on it. So this guy's really cool because it's pretty much a cross between a spinnerbait and a swim jig, which I like. I'm used to throwing that spinnerbait a lot. And then the trailer we have on the back of this is gonna be a 5.5 X-Zone swammer. Now, I purchased the Mega Bass swim bait heads in 3/4 ounce because I actually want to keep those a little bit deeper, a little bit closer to the bottom, and fish those in lower light conditions. Next up, we have the California swim jig. So I have this California swim jig paired with the D-Walker on here, 3.5 inch. For that California swim jig, I also have that in a 3/4 ounce. And I have the same thought process when it comes to that Mega Bass swim jig. I want to keep that a little bit deeper in the water column and target a little bit different fish than I would with these other lighter swim jigs. Next up, we have the No Jack swim jig with another 5.5 X-Zone swammer. I really like this color combination with the black and blue. And of course, we have that 5.5 inch swammer on there, cut down a little bit. I think this is gonna do really well today, so I'm really excited to toss this around a little bit. I just like that color combination, and the water's probably gonna be pretty dingy today, so I think that's gonna stand out nice. Now we're gonna move on to a little bit more finesse swim jigs. So I have this compact swim jig with this 3.5 inch Largo shad on the back. I really like this combination. It's got a nice stout hook, even though it's a shorter swim jig. So I like that a lot, and then that Largo shad looks like it's gonna give off pretty good action in the water. And then for our most finesse swim jigs, we have a little Missile 3/16 ounce weight. I have one in a white and I have one in a bluegill color with a 3.5 X-Zone swammer on the back. All right, guys, so before we hit the water, comment down below, how do you all like to fish your swim jigs? Do you like to swim them or do you like to bop them? If you guys enjoy this type of content, go ahead and hit that subscribe button for much more to come in the future, and let's hit the water. All right, guys, we have made it to our destination. So I'm gonna start off with this core tackle 3/8 ounce swim jig. This is a pearl color with a little 3.5 inch the deal on it. I'm gonna work my way back pretty quickly down this bank because I really wanna toss that No Jack swim jig around while we have lower light conditions with that bigger trailer on it. We're gonna throw this on the bopping style, and we're gonna see if we can get bit on it. Water clarity is a little bit dingy back here, which I really like. I might end up switching over to the chartreuse color. We're gonna try this white color first. All right, guys, since we have a little bit dingier water clarity, I'm actually gonna switch over to this chartreuse color. Plus, you'll see this actually already got blown out. I did a bad job of skipping it, but I'm pretty surprised that that already blew out that trailer. But to be fair, that trailer is really, really thin when it comes to the keeper there, so I can see why that would happen. So I'm gonna switch over to Goldilocks here, which Matt actually said was his favorite color in stained water. It's got some gold tinsel there, which I think is gonna give a nice flash in this more tannic water. Usually this lake is super clear, but we've been getting a lot of rain the past couple weeks, so I can see why it's less clear now.
All right, guys, I'm gonna put this bopping jig away. I'm gonna pick up a tactical Bassin recommendation, which is gonna be this no jack swim jig and that 5.5 X-Zone swimmer cut down a little bit smaller. I just think with this watercolor, that black and blue is gonna stand out a little bit more. I also think that heavier trailer is gonna give more of a thump on the back end, which might be what I need to attract some big girls here. I gotta make sure my drag is pretty tight because that has a big old hook in it. So the last thing I wanna do is hook a bass and not get a good hook set. And you guys will recall with tactical Bassin, we're just doing a straight retrieve. Sometimes we might throw a little twitch of the reel in there, but for the most part, tossing out there, letting it sink just a little bit, swimming it back. Oh. Got one. Oh gosh. Ah, let's go, baby. Let's go. First one of the day. Ah, not a crazy one, but not bad. Let's go, baby. All right, all right. Check him out. Solid 2 1/4 pounder here. First fish of the day. It comes on that no jack swim jig with that X-Zone swimmer. Healthy 2 pounder, but our goal's a 5 today, so let's get him back. It's like I'll probably regret throwing him back if I get a decent bag and need that last fish, but oh well. Cool, so X-Zone swimmer gets it done. Just threw it right in between a bunch of wood, swim it back through. Super subtle, but still a decent presence in the water, so that really doesn't jive too well together, but it's pretty much what it is. But then once we get to some overhanging trees like this, what we can do is just take that core tackle swim jig, skip it up under there, bop it around a little bit. Anytime I catch a fish back here, it's got the potential to be a giant, so heart rate goes through the roof as soon as you get one hooked. Stick with that swimmer. There's no point really changing around that no jack hook. And it's a 1/2 ounce, but with that big boot tail in the back of it, that allows us to keep it higher in the water column. So trying to run it right above their heads. A lot of fish are on bed or guarding fry. Bluegill are coming up to spawn, so this is a really, really, really good color this time of year. Oh, there we go. Got another one. Ah, let's go. Oh, this is killing me. Let's go, guys. Go. Another solid fish. Dang, look at how he's hooked. Can't get much better now. Here's something I'm gonna teach you guys. You see how that skin is ripped a little bit right there? So what that tells me is I probably need to back off my drag a little bit. But the thing about backing off my drag is if I do that and I hook a giant, it may not get hook penetration. So for me personally, I'm more worried about catching giant bass than I am small bass like that. So I'm gonna keep my drag just set a little bit tighter, and I might lose fish like that, but I'll still catch a giant. Super important tip for you guys. And this bait is destroyed, so that kind of hurts my feelings because I don't have a ton of those, so. But hey, developing confidence in the swim jig. I mean, this color water, I normally be throwing a spinnerbait, chatterbait, so I think they would have pretty similar effect, but I'm definitely happy with the results thus far. Bite that top off, figure out how far we need to come down, mark it with our thumb, go dead center, voila. Again, that jig I have it on is the Dirty Jigs 1/2 ounce no jack hook. Got it on a heavy rod, braid to leader. If I hook a giant back here, I need to be able to get that fish in the boat as quickly as possible. So we're not playing around. If we hook a 6, 7, 8 pounder and stuff like this, got to get in the boat right away. We're gonna try to bully him in. All right, so we got a winner so far. Of course, I have other jigs I want to try out, but if we continue to get bit on this one jig, there's really no point to switching to something different. There you go, guys. There you go. Decent one. Decent one. Go. Let's go, baby. Oh, tried to get cute. And she threw it. Probably about a 2.5, 3 pounder. Nothing crazy, but you don't like to lose fish. Again, that kind of goes back to that drag being set a little bit more tight. When your drag's set a little bit more tight, you're gonna kind of lose fish like that sometimes, but as much as I don't like it, I would much rather lose that fish than lose a 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 pounder, so it is okay. Jeez peasy. It's not as killing me. All right, number 3. Ouchie. 1.5 pounder. And pretty much every single one of my bites has come when I'm bouncing off of cover. I don't think I've gotten any bites just in open water. It's either been in between cover or bouncing off of cover. Pretty much every single time that's been the case. Throw it right back up in there. See if anybody else is home. You got fish? No, it's not. It's not bad, but nothing crazy. Nothing crazy. He's a keeper. Oh, goodness gracious. Long fish. All right, guys. Go a little 2.5-er. Still not quite the 5 we're after. But the cool thing is I've never actually caught a fish over in this area. So exploring some new water. I guess that's one thing when you're sticking with one technique or learning a new technique is you can't fish the same spot over and over and over again. You're gonna have to cover water, especially when it comes to moving bait. So that's what we're doing. And oh, is that another bite? Oh God. No! Not my jig. That's the only one I've caught him on today too. What? Yep. All right, guys, we're 3 hours in. I got 1 hour to go. I did find another black and blue swim jig, 1/2 ounce, just like the one I had before. This one's a California swim jig, so the head design is actually a little bit different. This one doesn't come through cover quite as well, but I fixed my X-Zone swammer. I used a little bit of Mend It there, so we're back to what was making us successful. We're gonna toss this around. We've got a really good clump of trees up here coming into another pocket, and I think we're gonna at least be able to pull 1 or 2 out of this little section here. I'm figuring out that the swim jig really excels where you have standing timber clumped together. Because this is one bait you can run right through the middle of it. You don't have to worry about it getting hung up. It comes through cover really well. So we're gonna test that theory up here on this little point.
All right, so let's talk a little bit about the swim jig. I went out there and threw the swim jig all day long. Again, it was not a lure that I was comfortable with whatsoever, but I feel like I kind of understand it a lot better now. To me, where the swim jig really excelled, especially that no jack swim jig with that X-Zone swimmer, was in standing timber. Really thick stuff where I could find the lane and cast it down that lane and bring it back really slowly. That was where it seemed to excel. In open water, they didn't really want it today, but whenever I could find those clumps of trees and bang it off those branches, they went crazy for it. Now, I threw the core tackle swim jig around a lot today. I did not get a single bite on it, but I don't think it was the swim jig's fault. Those fish didn't really seem to be positioned on the bank, which is actually surprising because we have a lot of rain this week and we have rising waters, but to me, those fish were out, kind of suspended in the trees. The one negative I will say about the core tackle swim jig, it has a lighter wire hook, which for a lake like this where we have really big bass and where we have standing timber, it's not a great design, and I also wish it came in a 1/2 ounce, but I'll do a full review later on for you guys. Thank you guys so much for watching. I really appreciate it. I hope you guys got the concept today of keeping a lure in your hands and fishing it all day in order to get better with it and more comfortable with it. Again, the swim jig is one of those lures I just have not spent enough time on the water with it, but after today, I understand it a lot better. I feel a lot more confident with it, and I'm definitely gonna throw it more here in the future. But with that being said, thank you guys so much for watching to the end. I really appreciate it. Like, comment, subscribe if you enjoy the content, and I'll see you guys on the next one.